Your company, Originality.ai, is crushing with SEO. You are
We
ranking
are.
for so many keywords. Number one for things like prompt generator. You rank number one for product name generator, for sentence simplifier, for sentence extender, and the monthly search volume on prompt generator is 4,500. You rank number one for that. I mean, and so we talked over email, and you told me you have 10 years experience in SEO,
hmm
and I'm just like, all right, this is going to be a fun episode to hear everything that you're doing. But I guess first, can you share? You're the CMO of Originality.ai.
Yes, I am. So I've been here pretty much since we were founded about 3 years ago. And yeah, I've been head of growth here and working on content marketing strategy that has morphed into several different pockets of marketing. So it's been a really fun journey and really fun to build something basically from the ground up, from zero to what we are now, and it's been great.
You've been there since the beginning.
Yes, yeah, I'm a part of the founding team.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have 53 out of 100 domain authority. You have 78,000 backlinks from 7.1 thousand domains, ranking for so many keywords.
Yeah.
And
Which
has it?
what are you looking at us on?
Oh, I'm looking at you on Moz, but
Moz. Okay, cool.
yeah, different. If I looked on SEMrush, it would be different. Has SEO been a huge focus from the jump?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's what we are. That's primarily my background when it comes to marketing. So prior to this, I owned and operated and founded a content marketing agency that our whole, I guess, like motto was like use the science of content marketing to like rank your content. And so we used a lot of tools that helped optimize content. And so it was it was rooted in the foundations of SEO, and our whole thing was like, oh, we'll get you to the top of Google. And so that was what we did prior to this. And then we saw the wave of generative AI coming our way fast. And so, in that industry, content validation was such a challenge to begin with. And when we saw the power of some of these tools that were coming out, like Jasper AI, some of the OGs, we were like, wow, this is going to make things pretty challenging. So we ended up selling that business and exiting and starting this one.
Can you share what Originality.ai is?
Yeah, definitely. So we are a tool that checks for or scans content and determines whether it has been generated by an LLM or not.
Do you have other features of the tool, or is that
We
like?
we do. That is our main use case. That's what people like. 99% of our usage is our AI detection capabilities. However, we do have a really good plagiarism detector, and that was actually, it's funny. We started building this as a plagiarism detector before generative AI was even on the map. Like we started building this because we hated Copyscape so much, and it was such a
Oh,
it was
really?
such
I
a
used to use Copyscape.
oh yeah, like we used it extensively in our content marketing business, and we were like, man, this tool is so like ancient. There has to be something better and more modern to tackle this plagiarism issue. And so that's what we started building our prototypes on. And then, generative AI kind of popped out of nowhere. And so we got in front of the problem in a different way. But yeah, so we have a really good plagiarism detector. And then we have built on different content marketing tools that complement one another. So fact checking, we have grammar and spelling, and we have a content optimization tool as well.
So you started before the release of ChatGPT, December
Yeah.
2022?
Oh yeah, and
Really?
we launched our AI detection software before, like 3 days before ChatGPT came out with its like open source
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
must have been I mean, but Did you know about, because I think before it came out, I guess like at the beginning of December 2022, right? I think,
Uh, yes, or end of November,
yeah,
within that
something
time
like
frame.
that.
Mhm.
And so did you know about it before the launch?
No, but we were training our tool on outputs from like other from the like original GPTs like Jasper AI, and some of those other tools. So we were using those tools outputs to train our model on, and that's the same technology that ChatGPT is essentially. And so we were very, very accurate right off the
Oh,
hop
wow.
with it. So we were very lucky in terms of timing.
Your competition must be crazy though, right? Because there's so many free AI detectors out there. I mean, even Grammarly
So
has a free AI detector. This method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than normal that when I discovered this years ago, I couldn't believe this was allowed. It's less work too. The average compact keywords page is only 415 words. Compact Keywords is a 13-hour deep course on getting sales with SEO. A customer recently said, "Each lesson is dense with information. You're giving years worth of experience boiled down into 15 to 30-minute lessons with no filler or fluff. I feel like I'm gaining a new superpower." Compact Keywords is about setting up an SEO funnel that brings you sales for years and years and years. It works with AI, it's less work than traditional SEO, and it makes way more money. You can get it now at compactkeywords.com. Back to the podcast.
yeah, so that's I guess the misconception is that there's a lot of competition. I would say there's probably 5 like serious competitors in the space, and that is because um, the free open source models are just like not good, and like they're not accurate, and they're not kept up to date the way that a model like ours or like some of our big competitors, like GPT-0, Copy Leaks. Those are legit competitors that have a really good product.
Yeah, GPT-0 is good.
Yeah, they're great. Um, and they kind of came out around the same time as us. And so if tools are coming out now, it's too late. Like we've built the foundation for 3 years to make our tool as like powerful and accurate as it is. Tools that are like open source and free just don't have like that foundation and the same like training baseline as we do, and tools that are serious competitors in our space. And there's only like 5 of us that are like legitimate competitors.
Yeah, and I mean, you've clearly established yourself very well with content marketing. I mean, the rankings that you have are so insane. I'm curious,
Thank
like
you.
what's your socials? I want to look at. Are you very active on social as well?
Yeah, so we're pretty active on Facebook. We actually just started like our Instagram
Okay.
not too long ago, but we're active on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So yeah, our socials are pretty dialed, but working on them to
Which
get.
social is best for you?
I'd say LinkedIn probably.
What
Yeah.
type of content do you post on LinkedIn?
So a huge part of our content marketing strategy has been doing data studies. So finding an industry and being like, hey, we're going to uncover like, for example, we did a huge series of like, hey, what UGC platform has the most AI published on them? Or what review platforms have the most AI on them? What e-commerce review platforms have the most AI on them? And sort of like,
Wait.
right.
I'm really curious what the answers are.
Oh, well, you'll have to read our studies.
Oh
We've
gosh.
got a
Okay.
lot of them.
Yeah.
And people are interested in that. And that is like provocative content, and it gets picked up by like by media, right? And media wants to run stories on that kind of proprietary data. So we've been big on sharing, like creating those data studies, sharing them on socials, and then running a bit of a digital PR campaign on those to try to get picked up by tier 1 media. And so that has been a big part of our content marketing strategy.
You're an AI writing detector. Are you doing human writing on LinkedIn or AI writing?
I'd say that we definitely leverage AI, but we have to be super careful, because if we're yeah, I don't know, it's tough. So yes, we do leverage AI. All of our like blog content and studies are human written. We have a human editor that is like heavily integrated in that process. We definitely use AI to help us with sort of the like framing of our article sometimes helps us with outlines, but we have a very active content marketing team that's very involved in the process. But yeah, we have to definitely be careful, because it's like we are a tool that helps people detect AI. And if we're then using AI extensively, it kind of makes us look bad, right? So we have to be very careful with how much we rely on it. But we also have discovered through our data studies, we have this one in particular. It tracks how much AI content is in the top SERPs of Google. And we can see that Google punishes AI content. And we've seen that, over the last 2-3 years now with some of their big updates. And we've been able to trace it back to AI usage. And so we know that if we rely too heavily on it and Google picks up on that we're going to have issues with our rankings. So we're also cognizant on that side of things.
It's really nice that you brought that up, because there's this just huge trend in SEO right now. It's called AI slop as a service, and
Yes.
I had this conversation with 2 guests on the show last night. It's like a very frequent topic, which is like, yeah, you can try this stuff and it'll work in the short term, and in the long term, like you're literally going up against Google's engineers, and
Yeah.
they have all the data in the world for pattern matching.
All the data in the world, but also when you think about it, it's AI content is like an existential threat to Google.
It's an existential threat, honestly, to the human race, to society. But yes, to Google.
I would agree,
yes, okay.
but to in terms of this conversation, I think to Google, it is an existential threat for sure, because if you can just get the same answer when you type a question into an LLM as you if you get the same answer on your Google search, then there's no incentive to really use Google at all, right? So especially now that these large language models are getting so sophisticated and starting to like link back to sources, and I think that it has the potential to just replace Google as a search engine.
Really?
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you ask ChatGPT a question and Google is ranking that content or similar content in its top SERPs in Google, what's the point, right? If they're saying essentially the same thing, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so
it's crawling Google.
right.
ChatGPT is getting its answers from Google.
And so it kind of creates a little bit of a loop and a problem for Google if it's not actively trying to suppress AI content from getting into the top of its search.
Problem is just ChatGPT results are so inaccurate. Like I get the worst advice from ChatGPT. It's
totally.
Yeah.
And that's also, I mean, if we want to talk about like existential threat to the human race, that's super problematic from like a societal standpoint. If AI content is ranking top in Google and it's spitting out inaccurate information, and then later models are training off of that inaccurate information, that creates like AI training off of AI proliferating raw, straight up, like flat out false answers. And it's like, okay, how many times does that get spread across the internet when you have these models that are just training on top of each other at super speed? Like, at what point, what breaks that loop? And it's, fresh human input.
Yeah, I just had I had basal cell carcinoma removed on my face like 3 weeks ago, so I have this like fresh scar here, and I had for the last 2 weeks I was wearing a big bandage on the podcast as I was recording, and throughout the healing process I would ask ChatGPT questions, and it would give me all of these answers, and I would say like half of the time the answers that ChatGPT gave me were just really far away from the answers that the dermatologist gave me when I eventually asked the dermatologist the same questions. And I'm just like, wow, I really should not be asking LLMs health-related questions. Like it is crazy. It is just, okay. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yeah. I want to talk about your SEO. I bet you those data studies get lots of links.
They do. And that is one of our main strategies in terms of organic link building. So creating really interesting studies that people want to link to, getting them covered, getting these stories covered in tier 1 media that then gets syndicated, 1,000 times across different media outlets, and then that one story gets 1,000 links. So it's that's part of like the organic link building strategy, for sure. But we have other stuff cooking too.
But I'm a huge fan of linkable assets. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, link building method. And that's what you're doing. So you get all this cool data. So my first question is, how do you get the data? And then my second question is, maybe, I guess you probably had a lot of journalists from before this company that you could just send the reports out to. But basically, how do you share these reports once they come out?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I actually hadn't dipped my toes in digital PR prior to this at all. It was never something that we had really done in any other business. So this was all new to me with this business, and it's been probably the most fun initiative to do because it's fast and it's I don't know, it's relationship building, really. When you're talking to journalists and pitching stories, you have to be so personable and like stand out from just like the AI slop that they probably get in terms of outreach all the time. So you have to really frame it in a very human way. You got to pick up the phone sometimes, so it gives you that like human relationship building piece, which, as an internet business builder, you don't really get that often. So it's been like really fun to dip my toes in that. But sorry, the question was, how do you get the story out once it's done?
How do you get the data, and then how do you get the story out once it's
right
done?
Okay, so you get the data so I have a team that works on this. I manage a team of a data scientist who typically builds some sort of mechanism of scraping data easily, and then we will scrape whatever platform we are analyzing. We create a data set, we clean that data set, and then we use our Originality AI API to scan that content, and then it will give us an answer in bulk as to whether each input was AI generated or human written. And then we're able to sort of like boil that down into a statistically significant storyline, whether it's a good news story or a bad news story. Sometimes the data doesn't give us the provocative, inflammatory sort of like expose that we're after. Sometimes it's like, oh, actually, the Canadian bank reviews, don't have an AI problem. They obviously have a moderation system in place. That's a good news story. Whereas, we have to be very, very careful and make sure that our content is like a pretty lawyer-proof with some industries because some of them do have very inflammatory storylines. For example, one that we just are wrapping up has, we just analyzed a very niche self-publishing subcategory on Amazon of like herbal remedies. And that has shown that like 83% of self-published books in the herbal remedies space that is giving like a lot of medical advice are AI generated and in 2025. So it's like these storylines are inflammatory. We have to be really careful because obviously Amazon is a huge company that has a lot of lawyers behind it. So we need to be careful with our language.
83%. So my reaction too when you said that, I went, what? And then I'm like, after my reaction, then I'm like, of course that's going to go viral and get you tons of links. Of course stuff like this is, yeah.
Right. So it's like, yeah. So it's coming up with cool stories, having the ability to, like the technical ability to extract that data, and then having the chops to like analyze it and create a story out of it. And people love that.
Are you ever able to make the good news stories do well? Bad news stories are easy. Yeah.
Less well for sure. But we still publish them because I don't think that because they still have a place, right? And not every industry needs to get dragged.
Okay, so you finish one of these like amazing reports. And like, take me back to before you had journalist connections. What were you doing? Was it just cold emails? Were you actually getting phone numbers and cold calling journalists, or were you distributing them with press releases? Yeah.
Yeah. So how it started was that people were actually coming to us to try to get data. And so they were like an investigative journalist from the Guardian, for example, was like my first person that came to me and asked me to run a book through our AI detector.
How did they find out about you?
I guess just like Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they reached out to me. I helped them analyze that book. It supported the data that they were after. And then we formed a relationship through that story. And so now I'm able to have that contact in my back pocket to be like, okay, that's the type of story that this person wants. And so when we come up with this kind of data, he's a perfect person to reach out to. And since we have that relationship, we have that repertoire, he's way more likely to open my email versus a cold email from somebody else. And so that's kind of how it works over time. And it's a compounded effort. Like it's not some stories hit really well, some stories don't, but you just keep going. And you do see a trickle down compounding effect over time. Because you become the authority, the trusted source, the person or the company that they know they can go to and they'll get like really good data quickly from. And so you just kind of try to help them for free as much as you can initially. And then you can start feeding them stories.
Yeah, it's funny. This was like an old school principle of public relations, which is you treat reporters as if they are gods. and
Totally.
I think a lot of people have forgotten it because, we are now our own, we're like our own channel. We like everyone is an influencer or a micro influencer. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, still journalists at big publications or even small publications are so important, and you always want to like treat them really well. But I'm curious, Are you doing any other methods aside from what to distribute these stories aside
Yeah.
from yeah.
Yeah. So we will. So depending on the story. So typically, if we have like a really good one, we'll try to get it covered as an exclusive under like embargo with tier one media company that we have an existing relationship with. If no one bites, which happens often, even when we think we have a great story, people are like, old news, like not newsworthy. Come back to us later with something else. So, and that happens all the time, which is fine. So in that case, we will do a bit of a larger outreach strategy, which is a little bit more of a cold outreach strategy to other journalists that have covered similar topics that we don't necessarily have an existing relationship with. And then we'll run a couple of follow-ups on those. And then if there are still no bites, we will just do a press release on like on Presswire or something. And then sometimes it will get syndicated, sometimes it won't. And that's just like the nature of the beast.
Yeah, the thing I say about press releases is they're best if you are in a hot top, if you have a good story in a hot topic.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
the hot topic, you have to be in a hot niche, and AI is a very, very hot niche.
Yeah.
So yeah, what press release service do you use?
I think it's Presswire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that one is kind of just like it's our last ditch effort to try to get some coverage. Sometimes we'll get syndicated, sometimes we won't. And then we will typically publish our study, regardless of whether it has received any media attention. And then we'll amplify it in our newsletter that has quite a large following at this point. So we still
Oh
get
my
eyeballs
gosh.
on it. Yeah.
Okay, now I need to ask about the newsletter. But I want to
Yeah.
go, gosh, I have so many questions. And it sounds
Yeah.
really like you are a brilliant marketer, which is, it's so fun to have you on the show.
Oh, well, thank you.
So you said distribution started, you had this journalist from, I think you said The Guardian, reach out to you. But they found you on Google, so you were already succeeding in SEO at that point.
Yeah.
So what, you know what? I guess take me back to when the company was started. What were you doing for link building? What was your keyword strategy, like all the way back 3 years ago when your company began?
Yeah. So we did what we would have done for any other client in our like content marketing business world. And we just created like a content plan for all and every related keyword that we could have possibly wanted to rank for. And we just, excuse me, we just went after it. And, you know, in the early days, we were publishing like 10, 20 blogs a week just to get that content out. We obviously made sure it was super high quality, that it was followed all of the like Google EAT principles, that it was, high quality, no like obvious keyword stuff in, but and then we optimized it. We used content optimization tools that we've always used to optimize the content to give Google what it wants, and that's kind of how we kicked off our content marketing strategy. And then in terms of link building, it's always just been like it's always been for us in the initial early days. Like, okay, who are our competitors? At the time, it was like, okay, anybody linking to Copyscape, let's do cold outreach to them and ask if we can be included in their like listicle or whatever for ranking top plagiarism detectors. Then anybody covering or doing any kind of blog on AI detection asked to be included in that, give them free credits to use our platform and play with it. And that was kind of our early days link building strategy.
Okay, so you're reaching out to blogs that covered best AI writing detectors. You were giving free credits to, was it people, it was also people just writing about AI writing, things like that.
Totally. Yeah. So any kind of blog that did any kind of review on AI detection, plagiarism detection, grammar spelling tools, fact checking tools, stuff like that that we were trying to rank for those keywords, and they had created an asset that we could be included in. And so typically when people are going to do a review on a software, they want to try it first to give an honest review. And so it was like, hey, here's some free credits to have a crack at this platform, and then write an honest review.
What would you say differentiates effective link outreach like you described versus not effective?
The amount of cold link building emails that I get that are like purely AI generated, like out of nowhere, draws zero connection to what I do at Originality, are the ones that don't even get opened, right? Like I just go delete, sift through them. I get hundreds of those emails a day. Like it's insane. And I can tell right away, right? And so I would say if you're looking to have an effective strategy, you have to do the work, and you have to reach out to these people with a very specific ask. Not like, hey, can we do an ABC link exchange? Like very specific ask, and why you would be a good fit in that, and the value that you would provide to their article and their audience, rather than having it completely 100% only self-serving.
Do you ever write the excerpt for your company to make it really easy for them to put it in, or do you just kind of like give them bullets?
If they ask for that, absolutely, we'll do it.
Yeah. When you launched, did you launch on Product Hunt or Beta List or places like this?
Did we launch on, I believe, that's a great question. I'm unsure.
A tool like yours, I would imagine, you know what, because when ChatGPT launched, it was so funny. So ChatGPT, I've shared the story on the podcast before, but I haven't shared in a while. We launched one of our companies on the same day as ChatGPT. And we launched on Product Hunt, and ChatGPT launched on Product Hunt. I believe it was December 2nd, 2022. Mm-hmm. And for the first half of the day, we were at #1 on Product Hunt. And slowly I saw this thing with like this weird name, ChatGPT. I'm like, what is it? GPT, like chat, what? And it had like this weird icon. It was a different icon back then. It was like this purple, green, blue icon that they used to have. And slowly it was coming up from the bottom. And then I think it was around noon or 2 p.m. They surpassed us at #1. And then by the end of the day, they were so far ahead of us. We were #2. They were so far ahead of us. And that day should have been a really exciting day for me because we launched and the launch went well. But it was actually exciting because ChatGPT came out and I was using ChatGPT until 4 a.m. being like, this is the craziest technology I've ever seen. What? This is wild. But yeah, Product Hunt is such a great, like for something like Originality.ai, I'm sure that Product Hunt Beta List would be perfect for you guys.
Yeah. And honestly, we might have. It's totally escaping me.
And what's cool about Product Hunt is you can launch even if you just have like feature updates. If you have like if you put in a new feature to Originality.ai, launch it on Product Hunt. Get some more links, get some more awareness. And Product Hunt and Beta List, I think you can launch on Product Hunt like every 3 months. And they're all very good for this. What was yours? Do you have like a strategy for one, for keyword research, and two, for keyword targeting?
Yeah, definitely. It's always been the principle where it's like, okay, what's the low hanging fruit first? And then you go after that. And low hanging fruit is just like lowish competition, high-ish, search volume. And so dominate those and then work your way up the ladder. But we did make a big mistake upon launching Originality in terms of SEO. We're like reeling in it now because there's nothing we can really do at this point. But all of our competitors had a free tool on their homepage for AI detector. And the keyword obviously that they wanted to rank for was AI detector. And we were like, well, no, we're not a free tool. We're a premium tool. We're not putting a free tool on our homepage. That would cheapen our, value proposition. And so we didn't do that. And every single competitor of ours are like absolutely spanking us for AI detector, which is obviously the most important word that we want to rank for. It is an extremely challenging word to rank for now, especially. And had we been smart in terms of SEO, we would have put a free tool on that page earlier, but we just decided to do it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so you actually did it.
Like it has become abundantly clear that is what Google wants. And so that's, it's crazy that we're not ranking. We're like the most accurate AI detector. And it's crazy that we're not ranking on the first page of Google for AI detector. And that's why.
So how long ago did you publish this page?
Like the update of the page?
You said you just put out a page targeting AI detector.
So our homepage has always been our homepage. It just did not have a free tool on it.
Okay.
We had an AI checker page that then we had a free tool on, as like an attempt to be a course corrector. And then we just started ranking really well for like AI checker, but that's not the keyword we want to rank for. We want to be AI. We want to be on the first page for AI detector. And so on October 8th, we amalgamated those two pages together and did like a big rebuild on our homepage. And so we're hopeful that will help move the needle a little bit in terms of ranking for AI detector. But it might be too late.
And you're targeting it with your homepage instead of with an individual page because you have so many backlinks saying AI detector going to your homepage.
Correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you consider doing it with an individual page? And if you did consider it, why did you decide to do the homepage?
So the reason that we decided to do the homepage was because that's the gateway to our app. And so we wanted that to rank for AI detector. And so moving the free tool onto that page, we had strong signals that that's what Google was rewarding because you get the AI detector on that page. That's what we decided to do.
Oh, and I see you have your page title AI detector, most accurate AI content checker for ChatGPT. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you literally have the H1 most accurate. I don't know if it's the H1, but it's a top text. Most accurate AI detector. Yep. And then you have it right there. Yeah. So you literally, this is perfectly structured for ranking for AI detector. And you said how long ago did you put this out? Like a few weeks?
A couple of weeks ago, we just made that change.
I mean, has to be like a crazy competitive keyword. So
it's
have
crazy,
you
crazy competitive.
Yeah. So have you noticed solid movement in ranking for this or not really?
We've seen indicators that Google likes it, but it might still be a little too early, but we'll see.
I mean,
we're hopeful.
I think you could rank. You have such a strong site in terms of SEO that I don't. I mean, what's your other competitors? How is their SEO compared to your SEO?
I would say that we dominate the SEO space. I would say that. Yeah, we definitely dominate the content marketing space. Traffic, like GPT-0, for example, or like a couple of our competitors ranked earlier for AI detector, and they reap a lot of the traffic benefits from that. And it's one of those cascading things.
And that's why I've recommended GPT-0 so many times in the show. I must have found it with a simple search, and like I got some other tools with word of mouth, but I would compare them all against each other. And I'm actually not sure if I had tried Originality.ai, and
Because we
it
didn't
was
rank in the top 10.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Right?
saying. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's definitely been like a thorn in our side for a while. But we're hopeful that this change um, will move the needle in terms of that specific keyword. But yeah.
What's been your strategy? So I mean, you like your company is just ranking for so many great keywords. So do
hmm
you have a specific way okay, so your content is human written, which is
hmm
it's great. Do you have a specific way for targeting the keyword that you see a lot of other companies, they're making mistakes targeting keywords, and how do you do it?
Well, one strategy, once we started to get like a lot of traffic, we were like, okay, yeah, a lot of traffic. We started being like, okay, well, if we noticed that review content, so like we were reviewing other tools that did similar things to us. And then we started seeing that we were ranking very quickly for those keywords of those other companies. So like kind of like it's a strategy. It's not like super nice, but when you um, when you're ranking for example, say we like I mean, Grammarly is a beast, but like, say we did a review article on Grammarly and then started ranking first for the Grammarly keyword. That would be a way of kind of hijacking that traffic that, the other company would have received had they ranked first for their own keyword. So that was one of the strategies is going after competitors and competitor company keyword.
When you say ranking first for the Grammarly keyword,
I mean, that was like,
you don't mean just Grammarly, you would mean like Grammarly alternative,
yes.
or would it just be literally the brand name?
Well, part of that strategy was like literally the brand name. Yeah.
Were you ever outranking a brand for its brand name?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
these comparison pages.
Yeah. With these like review pages, comparison pages, stuff like that. So,
You were outranking competitors for just their brand name with
hmm
with your comparison pages.
and like these would be like smaller
Okay.
competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Like
have
we're
so much
not
domain
we're not
authority.
outranking
Okay.
Grammarly for the Grammarly keyword,
Right,
right?
right,
But
right. But even
yes.
then, that's still very impressive. Are you specifically building links to these comparison pages?
Yes. Yeah. We're building links to yes, we would be building links to these comparison pages.
Do you have link building strategies for pages that you can talk about? If you can't, I understand. But if you can,
Um, aside from some of the digital PR stuff uh, that we spoke about, I'll probably keep those under my hat.
yeah.
But
It's all good.
yeah, yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, that's legit ranking for you're outranking new competitors for the. I mean, I guess, but are we okay? Are we talking about a new competitor who's not even doing SEO, or are we talking about a competitor who's
oh
actually
no,
trying to do SEO and
yeah,
you're still beating them for their
yeah,
brand name? That has to drive them crazy. Oh
crazy.
my
I'm sure.
gosh!
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's the same kind of. I mean, it's the same principle, I guess, when people in their media buying strategy like bid on your company as a keyword, right? So like that drives us crazy when we have companies like Grammarly, like some of the really big companies outbidding us for Originality.ai keyword, right? Um, we find that annoying because obviously our budgets are very different. So
Yeah, I mean, everybody hates that.
yeah.
That's a. I've recommended trying to outrank competitors for the brand name
hmm
using UGC. UGC works. I mean, because UGC is just ranking so well. YouTube ranks so well. But
hmm
like the idea that you are using a comparison page, and This is cool because I'm sure you know this. These comparison pages, they're going viral kind of in the SEO world right now because AI tools are surfacing comparison pages so much.
Hmm.
Comparison pages are great for getting your brand surfaced with AI tools.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have specific AI strategies, or you kind of like? I guess has your SEO strategy changed um, trying to get surfaced with AI, or have you
Yeah.
mostly been doing the same stuff?
So we, in terms of getting picked up on like LLMs and getting exposure and citations and stuff, yeah, our strategy has definitely shifted. Where we are definitely doing more on different platforms. So with other companies, we have kind of like picked one platform and just gone hard on that one. But with this one, we're kind of splashing our message everywhere. So, and we found that that has been very effective in terms of getting AI overviews, and getting mentioned and linked on various LLMs. Um, and so that would be a big piece of advice would be like, okay, traditionally, yeah, you only pick your website for SEO and maybe like a LinkedIn page or maybe a Facebook page or um, Instagram page or whatever. But like you kind of have to have everything if you're going to do well with LLMs, and consistent messaging across all of those platforms so that when they because they scrape everything. They crawl it all, right? And if your message is consistent and repeated over and over and over, they're going to have more of that same data to train on. And so you have to just like brand messaging, super consistent, splash that shit everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I had Steve Toth on the show a few weeks ago, and Steve Toth is a pretty well-known SEO, and now he's writing and talking a lot about AI SEO, and he said the same exact thing. He
Hmm.
said you need to describe your brand in the same way across multiple platforms.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a very, very, I think that might have even been his number one thing to do for
Yeah,
AI.
and I would agree with that. And I would say that social listening is a really, really important piece of our marketing strategy. And it's something that I didn't really I didn't really allocate many resources to it prior to this year. But now I have like two full-time staff that are like exclusively doing social listening, responding to things, getting involved in like Reddit conversations, in a very non-promotional way. Like you would kind of never know that they were Originality employees, but like these are the organic like things that you have to do to market your company now. And yeah, consistent brand messaging across them, all of them is kind of what we're doing.
I said that actually. I said this at the beginning. I made a viral, I think it was Instagram or TikTok on this or both, and I said Reddit is going to be the biggest power play of 2025, and it
Yeah,
was exactly what you described. It's employees who you don't know that they work at the company, and they are not linking to the company, but they are saying the brand name and they're saying it in comments. Sometimes they're saying it in posts. It looks very organic. They're writing about lots of other things. You'll see them going in the Zelda subreddit. You'll see them going in a cooking subreddit. And then they go into an AI subreddit and they're like, oh, you're looking for an AI writing detector? I use Originality.ai. It is the best writing detector and it's free. You can use it for free too.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And but
yeah,
it worked and it's so important.
yeah, totally. And oh, am I there? We
No,
go.
you're good. You're good. You're back.
I'm good. I'm back. Yeah, and I think that that is a piece of marketing that has become more crucial over the last year for sure.
You are like one of my favorite guests that I've had on the show
Oh my
because
gosh.
you are
Thank you.
saying you're really revealing a lot, and it's all very clear and it makes a ton of sense, and it's super actionable, and your
Mhm.
results speak for themselves. Crazy results. Um, are there aside from Reddit? So what UGC platforms are super priority for responding on, or maybe they're just maybe all of them?
I would say so. LinkedIn is a really great platform that we use every single day, and we respond to all of the mentions all the time. Like, there's not like one thing that we won't respond to. Like, just be on it all the time. Like, allocate your resource. If you have the resources, allocate them there. Do the social listening. Keep track of things. Keep track of like every single conversation that you have. We have our staff basically fills in a spreadsheet with like every single response that they have ever posted on any platform. And then we'll analyze that spreadsheet week over week to be like, okay, what are the trending issues that people are having with our software? We have a software that not everyone loves, right? Like, a lot of people hate us. It's fact.
Why?
Um, because we're seen as like the AI police, and people think that because we have a very small false positive rate, which every single AI detection tool will have, that we have no place on the face of this planet, and that we are just wrong, and that we're a punitive tool, blah blah blah. But we're not that. We are extremely accurate. There is going to be a false positive rate. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that except educate users that this is a thing, and use it as you will. But where was I going with this? Yeah, so we keep track of all of that feedback, and use it as a way to come up with content ideas that will help our users. So if people are having confusion about certain things, it's going to trend throughout our social listening initiatives and tracking. And then we're able to respond to that by like creating a more robust FAQ section, or creating a video that is an educational video on exactly like on what a false positive is and how you can avoid it, and what tools you can use to avoid being accused of having a false positive. And then, responding to people with a video. And so that gives them exactly the answer that they're looking for. And so these are the types of like organic, genuine things that you can do throughout your social listening. But I would say, back to your question, Reddit is a huge one. LinkedIn, you know, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you're advertising on, and then like Quora. I think we haven't started a Wikipedia campaign yet, but that's kind of like on our list. So I would say these are platforms that you should prioritize.
What are you using to track and surface mentions?
We are using a tool.
I used to
We're
use
using a social
mention.com.
listening tool.
I used to
Yeah.
use mention.com, which was pretty good. I should actually use that again.
Yeah, we're using a tool, but then also like manually, like just going through, like searching for specific things in like in the search bar of LinkedIn, for example. We'll like look for very specific things within our industry, and not necessarily having been directly mentioned. So if
Mm.
people are having a conversation on LinkedIn about like false positive is an AI detection, we want to hop in there,
Are you
even if
are
we
you com-
haven't been tagged.
are you commenting with an employee or with the brand page?
So it depends. Sometimes it will be brand page, depending on what the comment is. Sometimes it will be like from the founder. Depends on what the content is. So if there's something that I should respond to, I get flagged for that, and like the link will get sent to me, and then I'll respond to it. If it's something that our founder should, then he will take care of that. And then sometimes it's just like our marketing coordinator who handles a bunch of the responding. And then sometimes it's just from the company page.
Are you using? Is it? Are you having a human actually
Yes.
actually say who should respond to this?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're not using AI to route the thing to the person who responds.
No.
And so, okay, like people are talking about false positives in writing detectors, and and like someone from your team comes in, and then at the end you say like, oh, we do this, or do you just like actually give them just a solid answer, and then they see like writing detector in your bio and your name, and
Right.
or do you actually mention like, yeah, we have a writing detector?
So what we would do is probably educate a little bit on like why there's such a thing as a false positive. We would link like a linkable asset in there to like a piece of content that we've written on that topic. And then we would probably name drop and be like, but Originality has a super high accuracy rate, and maybe link our accuracy post in there, or like just prompt them to be like, you should give it a try.
That's great. So what do you do? What do you do if somebody says something nice about Originality.ai? Because I get like lots of people on LinkedIn, they say great things about me, and half of the time now I'm like thinking about my behavior, and I'm just like, oh shoot, half of the time all I do is like it and then say like thank you, but maybe I should be like writing more. Maybe I should have some sort of call to action in the response.
I would say acknowledge it always. When people give us compliments or nice reviews, I think acknowledging it is probably just like the most important thing. But I don't think that there necessarily needs to be, unless what we have done in the past, depending on who the person is, if they really like our product and they are an expert in a specific field that might help broaden our message, we might help like onboard them as a brand ambassador, to help talk about our brand in a very positive light to their audience, and incentivize them in different ways to help us do that.
Wow. I didn't even think about doing stuff like that. That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I'm
so
thinking about how I can do it. Yeah.
and that's like a very genuine relationship. Like I can think of a perfect example. We have a guy who is an SEO consultant, who has been talking about our brand for a long time, really likes our studies, really likes the robustness in which we do our studies and how open we are with our data, et cetera. And SEOs love that, right? And this guy specifically has like really enjoyed our research and has been following it. And he has quite a large SEO audience. He's very legitimate in his space. And so we actually hired him to do like an SEO audit on our site. And then, so he is like actually an employee and he helps us with our SEO, but then he also uses our data studies and a lot of the data that we come up with to kind of like push his brand forward, as well. So it's like you scratch our back, we'll scratch your back kind of relationship. And it's worked out really well for us. And
How long ago was that audit?
that audit was probably, he's been working with us probably since like April.
So what were some of the things that he found in the audit?
Well, I think that he a lot of technical SEO stuff. So a lot of things that like we can't really see on the surface, were some of his recommendations. He's very in the technical space. So things that I'm not super well versed in. And like a lot of like redirect issues, a lot of sort of back end stuff like that. But then he was very, very supportive of our change to have the free tool on the homepage.
I love technical SEO. So I mean, I don't know how much of it you remember. So what, like just like a lot of broken links, things that should maybe you're using 302s instead of 301s. Maybe information architecture is messed up in some areas,
Hmm.
or parts of the site are bloated, things
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just to be totally transparent, I
It's
wasn't
totally
like
okay. Yeah, yeah.
on the team that did
Hmm.
implemented any of the changes. But yeah, he worked very closely with our developer to kind of fix some technical stuff on the back end.
Was This is a side question. So Originality.ai was before the AI, like the AI explosion. So was the domain really expensive when you got it?
No.
Oh my God. And a domain like that now in 2025 would be, just aside from like the established brand that you have, would be insane.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
dot
I
AI like
think
that, a one word dot AI.
yeah, it was not expensive, which is
That's
great.
amazing that you launched before ChatGPT, and then like it must the 2023 must have been so insane for you.
Yeah, I think honestly, the last every year has been insane for us.
Yeah.
It's been just like we've just been through like experienced this kind of explosive growth that we've never experienced with another business. Um, and we've yeah, come up against like big hurdles. Um, and we're a pretty lean team still. Like we've got like maybe 20 full-time employees. Like we're quite lean still. So it's like, yeah, it's been a wild last few years just to be on this team and experience this crazy amount of growth. So it's been fun.
I actually have a great question for you. Why, how are AI writing detectors able to actually detect AI writing? And I think this
Great
is something
question.
that a lot of people don't think about, and they're like, yeah, there's no way people can detect that this is written by ChatGPT or by Gemini. But yeah,
Yeah. So we have um, a team of AI engineers that have built this tool. And so what this tool in very layman terms has been trained to do is it's been trained on like hundreds of millions of words of AI generated content using different LLMs, using different like ways to prompt things, using different bypassing methods. Um, and these have been lumped into various data sets that have then been trained on our AI. And then in contrast, it has also been trained on like millions and millions and millions of words of verified human written content that have also been lumped into different types of data sets based on what type of content it is, what kind of editing tools have worked on it, etc. And then our AI has basically been trained to pick up the subtle differences between the two. And that's how it works. And so it's a predictive tool, but the and the accuracy rate is really, really, really good. But there's always going to be that bit based on the fact that it is a predictive tool. There's always going to be that very small false positive rate associated with it. And so it can get it wrong. And which is why we emphasize all the time that like AI detection tools cannot be the only um, measure of a piece of content when it comes to whether it's original human written content or AI written content. It can be a very strong indicator, but it should not be used as the sole indicator of origin.
I have another good question. What are your recommendations on how to humanize AI written content? Let's say you're relying on it a lot, but you don't want it to seem AI written. You want to
Yeah.
humanize. Yeah. So what are your tips there?
My tips would be to not use a humanizer because AI detection tools have been trained extensively on humanizers, and so it will be able to tell And so if you're trying to bypass detectors, that's not going to work. And when you actually read a piece of humanized text, you're like, did a 5-year-old write that? Like it's not good content. So it's like, what's the goal of content? It's for it to be good, right? And so I would say if you're trying to humanize a piece of AI written content, go through it, put in like your own like normal words, and then fact check it extensively, because we know that AI hallucinates and will give you wrong answers all the time. And put your own personality and flair into it. Put in your own like humor in it, if it can be a humorous topic. And put in your own thoughts. Like put in your own, like really think about it, and think about the content that you're writing, and think about the issue or topic that you're writing about, and have your own thoughts. Don't just don't just rely on a computer or a machine output to think for you and to frame your like output, basically.
My biggest tips are remove the M dashes, remove the buzzwords. There's a million lists. There's so many lists, reliable lists of very common buzzwords that LLMs use. Remove the buzzwords. Something else that's extremely overlooked: use unique images and videos, ones that you might have taken a screenshot of, or a video where you did a screen recording of, because this makes it seem a lot more personal. Like I have seen this so often on TikTok or Instagram. It's clearly an AI, a ChatGPT written script, but the person or the account uses B-roll of himself or herself, like with the over the AI written script, and it just personalizes it a lot. And most people can't tell that the script is AI written. And for someone like me or you, we'd be able to recognize that, oh, these buzzwords are really common. These analogies are like, ChatGPT makes a million analogies like this. But just having the person's face, just personalizing it with media goes such a long, long way.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are a killer with digital marketing. Who did you learn from? Especially when you started, and even people now that you pay attention to.
So my mentor and business partner on all of these things has been the founder of Originality, who's John Gillam. Him and I started working together about 10 years ago. I moved to a small town just outside of Toronto called Collingwood, and he was looking for like a marketing intern. And so I hopped on board, and one thing led to another, and we launched a bunch of online businesses together. And he's been a really, really solid mentor for me. And so I would say that I've learned most things from him. And then, there are like other, I guess, how to make money online influencers in like the early days that I'd follow their blogs a lot. Like Matt Diggity. I'm not sure if you know
Of course.
him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And like the Glenn Gabes and like, of course, the Neil Patels. But so I think those types of people in the space are the ones that I followed for a while. But John has been like my like person, in terms of business for 10 years.
I had on
He's super
Rand
smart.
Fishkin. I had on Rand Fishkin a couple of months ago, and Rand for me was like, he was that person. I must have watched like every Whiteboard Friday, and Rand came on the show, and it was such a great conversation. And Cyrus Shepherd came on a few weeks ago as well, and Cyrus Shepherd is another one of these people for me. But with Rand, something that we talked about, and something that I always loved about him, and you talked about this as well, is he would just emphasize in so many different Whiteboard Fridays and writings that he did how important a holistic sense of marketing is. So you're not just doing SEO, you're doing social, you're doing email marketing. You're thinking about how everything plays together. And when I used to work at Dentsu Aegis, and when I was at Dentsu Aegis, that's something that drove me crazy, was that the agencies wouldn't talk to one another. And this is common in every big holding company, is that agencies are not communicating enough. But when you actually have a brand where your marketing efforts play in tandem with each other, like the most magical things happen. And it seems like that's what's happening with Originality.ai, especially because you have such a small team that I imagine there's so much crossover and things are a lot more effective.
And I think I would agree with that. I think that it bottlenecks us sometimes in terms of just like capacity, right? But I do think that it allows for a certain amount of agility that like bigger companies just don't have. And I attribute that agility and the ability to like wear all of these different hats all the time to the explosive growth that we've had. And I'm not just saying that with like my department. Like all of our departments are wearing multiple hats and doing so much and managing so many different pockets of the business. I think that has been great for us. I can't imagine not being allowed to work on certain initiatives because it's not in my job description. Like I can't imagine not having some level of oversight over like media buying and digital PR and content marketing and like link building. Like I can't imagine not having purview to those things, which is why I think it's been such a like high impact business.
Did Originality.ai receive seed funding?
No.
Wow. So it's all bootstrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. So cool. I'm so happy to have you on the show. This is like such a great story. How are you able to stay so lean? Like, how are you? Yeah. Cause I think, I love people talking about smart workflows that they have. And it seems like you probably have a lot of smart workflows.
Yeah. How are we able to stay so lean? I think we're able to stay so lean because we have a really great company like structure. We have sort of like head of department and we manage like all of our own little people. We have our like weekly one-on-ones with like I have weekly one-on-ones with all of my staff. So I know exactly what's going on in their world at all times. And then I have a weekly one-on-one with our ops manager or head of operations. And then he has that weekly one-on-one with all of the heads of departments so that he knows what's going on in all of our worlds. And then he has a weekly one-on-one with our CEO so that, and all of our KPIs are kind of linked to one another's. And so he's able to have that like one meeting with our CEO and he knows basically whether like what's struggling in the business at any given moment. And so then we're able to like tackle that problem immediately if it's detected, right? If somebody's not hitting their KPI at like the bottom of the ladder, it's gonna trickle up to the top and we're gonna be able to tackle that problem right away. So there's nothing that festers for very long.
I think but my last, and thank you for that answer. I think my last question will be, well, maybe I'll do two more questions. What have been your biggest, aside from you should have targeted writing detector, like what was a huge, what were AI detector? Thank you. Sorry. What were huge failures that you learned from? I would say even not just from this company, but in the last 5 years, especially with SEO and content marketing?
That's a great question. So obviously the AI detector one is the big one. We could be at a much different spot right now. But I would say, I guess personally, my biggest failure in like the work that I have been doing over the last year was trying to outsource digital PR. I tried so hard to outsource it. I brought on agency after agency after agency, and I'm just the better fit for it. I'm just dialed into it in a certain way that I cannot, like, I'm dialed into it. I don't want to sound pompous, but like I cannot replace myself with that initiative. And I tried too hard and I burned so much company money trying to do so. And yeah, it's just one of those initiatives that it's so relationship heavy that you cannot replace that with throwing money at it. So that one was a big like money waster. And then, but also like great lesson to learn. And now I can like allocate just like more of my time to that and then cut from other things, right? So that, and then I would say a second one would be media buying and trying our Facebook strategy. Like we tried to do media buying on Facebook for about a year. We were running awareness campaigns. The same agency that was using us, the same agency that we were using to help us with our like Google PPC, was doing the media buying for Meta, and it just wasn't working. We weren't able to scale. We threw more money at it. We weren't able to scale. I brought a advisor, a Meta like advisor on to try to help advise the media buying team. That didn't work. And then eventually I just hired the advisor to do the media buying for Facebook, and it finally worked. But we burned like $40,000 throughout that test, and that's a tough pill to swallow. So those were my big mistakes this year.
Well, now I got to ask, what changed with your media buying strategy?
We just got, so I guess that's like, I just got the more expensive expert on Meta to do it rather than trying to piece an agency that like excelled on one platform, but was still kind of learning on Meta. And I tried to fit them into like, it's like fitting a piece of a puzzle into the wrong spot, right? And sometimes you just have to go with your gut and be like, okay, they are not the expert on that platform, and that is okay. And like, and that's okay. They're the expert on Google media buying. It's okay that they're not the expert on Meta, and just go like find that expert and bring them on. And it's okay that you're paying 2 management fees, you know? Like, I think those are some lessons.
Yeah, it sounds like a similar lesson for both, which was you tried to take kind of a shortcut, and in the end, the long cut was the best shortcut.
Totally. 100%. And so, yeah, that's exactly it. Tried to take the shortcut, tried to, I guess, like simplify it, but it made it just like more complicated and more expensive.
When I started this podcast, or actually it was last year because this podcast grew really slowly, but I've 10x the podcast listeners year over year, and I'm hoping to 10x again next year. And
amazing.
It's been cool. But something that I learned was that I tried to get views and listens with all sorts of stupid gimmicks. I would record from a rooftop. I I don't know. I would be in all these like different places, or maybe I brought the best energy. But at the end of the day, the thing that actually grew visibility was thinking more about the topics, picking good topics, putting more work into the editing, having good images with like the talking head videos, and and then doubling down on one niche, which I knew I should do, but I didn't want to do, which was SEO, and I doubled down on SEO. And because I wanted to talk about all sorts of things, because everybody wants to be a jack of all trades, and I want to be a jack, but like it's always best to niche down.
Mhm.
And I did the things that I know I should that I knew I should be doing that I didn't want to do because they were kind of like more work or not as fun. And those are the things that, of course, they worked. Of course, spending more time to think about your topics is going to be better. Of course, vetting your guests harder is going to be better, which is why I asked you so many questions over email. Of course, spending more time to put in relevant images that illustrate what you're talking about is going to be best. And yeah, I learned the same thing. All right, my last question for you, because again, I want to just repeat your results. You're ranking for, I mean, my tool is saying 13. I'm sure that I'm sure like on your end, it's like so much more, but okay. 13,500 keywords, ranking number one for so many valuable competitive keywords like prompt generator, sentence extender, simplify sentences. Wow, that's a great keyword. Oh my gosh. Okay, and very good domain authority. What would your advice be to people who just started, or they have like new companies and they want to get their companies to rank? They want to start doing SEO. What would your advice be to those people? And then what would your advice be to people who already have like decent SEO, but they want to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I would say that the thing that has like pushed the needle the fastest and and gotten in front of the right audiences is always going to be content marketing. So really, really double down on your content marketing. Spend the money on like really good content. Spend the time, spend the money on really, really good content that dominates keywords in your industry. That's kind of like and I know that's boring. It's not anything new, but I think those are still the foundations right now. And that is how you're going to establish yourself over time, and it's going to have a ripple effect. Yeah, so I would say double down on your content marketing strategy right away. Those who already have good traffic, start creating content that you can sell as a story, and try to get data from whatever way you can, whether that's like a unique value proposition. If you're a tool, figure out how you can use your tool to extract interesting data. And then double down on digital PR and build relationships and get tier one media to link to your assets. And that will push the needle in huge ways for you.
That was a fantastic answer. Wow. Where are you active posting yourself on LinkedIn and Next and all these places?
On LinkedIn, yes. I'm not as active as I should be. But yes, I'm on there. And I can send you my LinkedIn profile and we can connect on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Where should everybody go to follow you and to read all your amazing stuff? And obviously
Yeah.
everyone needs to go to originality.ai.
Yes. So Originality.ai is on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We have super awesome videos on there. We have a great newsletter that doesn't only talk, like if you sign up you don't have to even like subscribe to Originality AI. You don't have to buy a subscription, but if you sign up, you will get pushed into our email flow, and then you will get all of my newsletters, which I send out every Thursday. And they talk about like company things, but they also talk about overall more like general AI things, and different, partnerships that OpenAI has going on, different lawsuits that are happening. So kind of dabbles into everything, and it's very interesting. So, yeah, that's where I would recommend you follow us on.
I hope you'll come back on the show to talk
I
about the things
will.
that you just mentioned, because you just mentioned all of these things and I'm like, oh no, I have more questions. I'm like, okay, I want to know, I wanted to know how you grow the newsletter, but now I want to know, I want to get your thoughts on current events in AI and yeah, and all of these things. So you're just such a great guest. This was
Oh,
awesome.
well, thank you. Yes, please have me back anytime. I would love to chat more.
Thank you again. So your links will be in the description for this episode. Please stick around when I hit stop, as your video will have to upload. And for everybody watching and listening, this is episode 836 of The Edward Show. This is my daily digital marketing podcast. I do this podcast every single day. Haven't missed a day since starting 836 days ago. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.